Let's welcome the panel. Kat Timpf, National Review reporter and correspondent on The Greg Gutfeld Show. Dave Smith, comedian and host of the Part of the Problem podcast. And Chris Barron, founder of LGBT for Trump. Is the reaction to the immigration order just a bunch of hyperventilating, or is there cause for concern, Dave Smith?
Okay, there is some legitimate cause for concern. I mean, I think this executive order ultimately is going to be ineffective in keeping people safe. It'll cost money, and there will be individual liberties that are violated in the process. In other words, it's a government program. That being said, what Trump is able to do throughout the entire Trump moment is just expose the hypocrisy of all of his enemies. And the fact that we actually have, like in this world now, liberals love the CIA and neocons are worried about blowback from the Muslim world over violating Iraqi civil liberties. It's just insane. I don't know what to say.
Every time even when, because the rollout went poorly over the weekend, because there were big holes in it, Kat Timpf, but as today wore on, I found myself thinking, why am I shocked at how the Trump administration is handling this? They just did not back down and are calling a success and not even admitting that anything went badly.
Yeah, the rollout is disgusting. If I were somebody who had legal permanent status and I was trying to come back here because I had something to do and I was stuck at the airport because Trump just, signed this, like, all right, yeah, this is what I want to do. I mean, that's very serious implications for people that, people with green cards. That's not refugees. That's something that's totally different. So people have a right to stay mad about that. People are mad about that. I completely understand. As a libertarian, I'm a lot more liberal on foreign policy, refugees, those sorts of things than most people are. I think that both sides, for and against, are a lot centered in emotion, emotion wanting to be compassionate on the one side, and the other side, fear. So I think that, just trying to be logical, calm, and balanced. But if you're someone who's at that airport because of some random executive order, and if you're someone who is even an ally of our country, you have a right to be disgusted.
But the whole reaction was so over the top with Chuck Schumer crying.
Oh my God!
The fake tears from Chuck Schumer, and I don't want to sound crass, but I thought, nobody died. Where are the tears for actual terror victims or the people who lost their lives in the Middle East, in our military?
The tears were for television. The tears were for television. All of this is just a democratic stunt for attention. They suck at actually winning elections. Apparently, they're now trying to master political kabuki theater because they suck at the actual elections. Look, let me tell you what. First off, I loved President Trump's executive order here, and I like
without the group letting people with green cards in. You love that? That was disgusting.
A little mistake.
By the way, you want to know what?
It was a mistake.
Yeah, and guess what? There was problems in its rollout, but Trump has come saying that he is going to change the way that things are done here. And so there's going to be some mistakes because he's not going to play this bureaucratic game all the time. He's going to come in like a chief executive, and yes, there will be mistakes that are made. But you want to know what? Nobody died in this process. And by the way, I look at that executive order. It talks about how we should not be importing people into this country who preach bigotry and hatred towards gay people, towards women, towards religious minorities. That is,
a lot of the children who are getting gassed out aren't doing anything. So be a little careful when you talk about all of them.
No, but okay, that's fine. But let's stop the ones who are coming here who actually are doing that. You don't have a right to come to this country. There's no right for you to come, particularly people who are talking about, saying, oh, I guess what, I think gay people ought to be killed. I think the penalty for being gay ought to be death.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
To reduce everyone that Kat's talking about with green card holders to people who hate gay people is a little simplistic and collectivist.
But to say that we're putting a temporary pause on the 6 of these 7 countries don't have functional governments. 6 of 7 don't have functional governments.
Well, about 3 or 4 of them did before we overthrew them.
Okay, well then, so look.
Trying to mess things up, getting involved.
No, I'm with you. It's just, look,
I don't care how they got there. They don't have functional
Dagen said before, with someone like Chuck Schumer, I'd much rather see those tears come for the 22 soldiers a day that are committing suicide, the hundreds of thousands of Iraqis that were murdered. So I'm with you. The moral outrage is not on the level it should be. That being said, what Kat's talking about, if you're a green card holder waiting in an airport, of course you should be outraged.
But they rectified that.
Yes, they fixed it.
Okay, fair enough.
And I'll admit that it was a foul up. I mean, you won't hear that from the Trump administration. And what I said what I said to Chris is it was clearly ham-handed the way that it was. Like the customs officials who were charged with enforcing this found out about it as it was was being signed.
I spent 24 hours in the airport in Cleveland because my flights got canceled and they wouldn't rebook me on something.
Are you tweeting for Trump or what? He was blaming Delta for the...
This stuff happens. Yes, if this was permanent, yes, it would be problematic, but it happened. It was over the weekend. We had, what, 24-hour period that was people were inconvenienced. I'm not happy about it, but
it's what the inconvenience represents. If I was somebody who was an ally of the United States and then I wasn't welcome back, that would be very upsetting.
Well,
so you should understand that also.
No, I understand that, but I also don't understand the people who are, the Chuck Schumers of the world, who are out there talking about allowing people in from countries that the general opinion, not everybody, but the general opinion is horrible towards gays, horrible towards women, brutalizes gay people. Those people should not be coming into this country preaching that ideology.
Well, to your point, I want to move on to, there's corporate outrage to talk about. American companies are also lining up to support refugees in the wake of Trump's executive order. Starbucks vowing to hire 10,000 refugees. Globally, Airbnb providing free housing to refugees. Silicon Valley executives there pouring money into the ACLU. The CEO of Ford says his company does not support the ban. The chairman of Goldman Sachs saying the same thing. Kat, but these company executives are not worried about alienating people. They're more than ever speaking out against what they don't see as fit.
Yeah, and they have every right to do that. And, you know, again, I have a more nuanced view on the issue than most people do. You clearly have one.
There's no room for nuance in TV or politics.
I know, but it's tough for me because it really is a complicated situation. And people are like, oh, yeah, well, Starbucks, well, now I'm gonna boycott Starbucks. It's never that. So you get your coffee. You know, you shouldn't be attacking people for even having the desire to want to support refugees, just like you shouldn't be attacking people for having desire to want to protect us here. They both come from noble things. So to be careful to not let emotions take over on either side.
Chris, you're smirking.
It's just virtue signaling. It's fine. It's fine. I get it. Like they, you know, fine. I still have my Starbucks this morning. It was a little burnt, but you know, I drank it. It's fine. I'm not gonna boil it. It's just all virtue signaling.
Why do they do it though? Is it just to the nature of where the country is
Starbucks
gone?
always does virtue signaling.
They do. Yeah. You're right about Starbucks, but it does seem like that they're, and in Silicon Valley, the CEOs there were angry that Trump won the election, but it seems like you're getting more and more of it. Well, you had like banking executives communicating with their employees, for example, who might have been impacted by this ban.
It's interesting. First of all, I think you should have sent your coffee back. Look, Trump probably won't appreciate the nuance that Kat just put forward. It's probably more likely that he'll just like deport Howard Schultz or something. But you know, that's probably more realistic. I don't know. I find
coffee burnt.
There's interesting layers of all of this, but yes, the virtue signaling is what's driving the vast majority. I mean, if we could harness virtue signaling and turn it into an energy, we could pay off the $10 trillion of debt Obama left us.
What do they get in return for doing it, other than like just self-satisfaction?
People telling them that you're a good person.
You get praised within the community. What liberals do, unlike any other group or lefty people, whatever you want to call them, is they praise people for virtue signaling. So you do this, and then you'll be worshipped by everyone else in the lefty community.
Worship just doesn't do it for me.
No.
Kat, I look at you because people worship you.
Oh,
they worship weird things about you.
They really do. Feet, a lot of feet.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually self-editing because the panel returns later. We can discuss it then to talk about the latest shrill noises coming out of Hollywood about President Trump. But first, President Trump is set to name his Supreme Court pick tomorrow. Will his choice spark another confirmation battle on Capitol Hill? That's next. Last night, celebrities at the Screen Actors Guild Awards lined up to deliver self-righteous monologues and, to a lesser extent, accept their rewards.
This immigrant ban is a blemish, and it is un-American.
Everyone in airports that belong in my America. You are a part of the fabric of who we are. We will shelter freaks and outcasts, those who have no homes. We will, as per Chief Jim Hopper, punch some people in the face when they seek to destroy the meek and the disenfranchised and the marginalized.
Trump won the election despite the overwhelming opposition of Hollywood celebrities. Should they shut up? The panel is back. Katherine Timpf, Dave Smith. Chris Barron, Chris, they're so outraged. It's like Botox got outlawed.
I know. It's so, like, I can't help but laugh watching that. Like, first off, they're actually angry because we're barring people from coming to this country who, I don't know, like, hate gay people, abuse women, brutalize religious minorities, and they're standing on stage raging against the machine. Like, by the way, I would like one of these people to tell me if they've ever been to Yemen. Like, you got a problem with a temporary ban on people coming from Yemen. Have you been to Yemen? Does Elaine Bennis there know where Yemen is on the map? My guess is no.
As someone who summers in Yemen, I just want to say that it's a lovely place, and you should. Listen, I'm not with this Trump executive order. I don't really agree with what you're saying. But that being said,
that's not what they're mad about. They're mad about everything.
But where did this come from? Like, what we've done to Iraq and the Middle East over the last 25 years, and this restricting immigration a little bit, this is like the moral line that we've crossed. I mean, if you just look, don't even make it a partisan thing. What Bush and Obama did to the country of Iraq, being detained at the airport might be the nicest thing our government's done to an Iraqi in 25 years.
Timpf, you know that you've been longing to be lectured to by Ashton Kutcher your entire adult life.
I was like, Kelso's so angry, and he's normally such a chill guy. I mean, I think it's more almost a competition of who can be the most outraged and who can be on these highlight reels. I don't see any of these, I mean, not maybe some of them, but they're not the most involved. They just are complaining about it when they have a chance to give a speech. It's almost this trendy thing to get involved and make themselves look self-righteous.
What are they going to do about it?
Nothing.
What are they going to do about it? Because all the bloviating and all the bombast didn't get Hillary Clinton elected.
Right.
Period.
These are liberals. They're not about doing things.
Except talking
and protesting, political street theater.
Lecturing the American people when they're wearing a $25,000 gown.
Maybe we're only like 2 or 3 more celebrities speaking out away from really making a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? Better wrestling.
Sure, Trump is listening. He values their opinions.
100%.
It does make him mad, though, which makes me happy. Do you have painful and troubling memories? Well, instead of learning from them, you may soon be able to get them lasered out of your head. Scientists in Japan are working on a technology to manipulate neurons that might be able to wipe bad memories straight out of your brain. Is getting a laser into your brain to manipulate your memory taking science a little too far? Timpf, I'm sure you have no bad memories. I start with gin, so I would gladly get away from the gin memories.
I was thinking that about cherry burnett's. I hate the smell of cherry burnett's due to things that have happened in the past because of cherry burnett's. However,
that's a vodka.
Yes, it's a very cheap vodka. I learned a lot of lessons of what not to do that were taught to me the hard way by cherry burnett's, and I'm a better woman because of them. So all of the bad memories that we have are how we learn to become better people, and they may involve often alcohol, but you know, you learn those lessons. Those are the ones that really tend to stick.
Yeah, but why don't men's bad memories teach them how to be better men?
I don't know.
They just teach us how to be better liars.
Yeah,
I really agree with Kat. That was a really good point. People do get improved from their bad memories, so you can't take those away. The only takeaway I had from reading that study was it's really messed up what we do to mice. Like every study, if you read into it, they're like, well, we kicked a mouse in the head. And
they're mice. I'm okay with that. You ever live with an apartment infested and they're gross? I was on crutches and they're running around. There's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah, I get it. I want them out of my apartment. I want to hear them every time they're bad.
You like to hear their little bones breaking. Laser your bad memories away.
It's terrifying and intriguing at the same time. Like, I feel like it's like one step away from like post-apocalyptic movie scene here. But there's something intriguing about it. If you had some terrible memory and being able to eliminate that memory completely, like
the sound of Elizabeth Warren's voice, but I don't think that's the one. Members,
that's seared in there.
I'll do it for you in the commercial break. I don't want to drive the viewers away, so I won't do it right now. Members of today's workforce that come from poor backgrounds may find it difficult to move up in the professional ranks, in part because of their accents. A new study conducted in the UK found that the salary gap between employees with working-class regional accents and those from more affluent backgrounds was averaged at $8,500. Should we start practicing different voices and dialogues to fake our way up to first class? Well, golly!
This is, Dagen, I just found out, makes minimum wage. They put
what do you mean?
All the time.
What do you mean make? I have to pay them to work here.
I don't know. You know, Dana Perino told me once that that being read to as a child studies indicate is like the biggest indicator of whether you're going to succeed or not. So I always feel like there's some study that says something else is an indicator of where there's just, it's hard to say this is really about your accent. And I think if you read the study in this, they're not even really saying
There's a certain prejudice against people with Southern accents, though, and you have to learn how to use it against you. President Bush, 43, did. He said always let people underestimate you and think that you're kind of a...
Did he say misunderestimate? Which was adorable, let's be honest. He was adorable. He was adorable.
But you do get treated, Southern people get treated by particularly people in the Northeast like they're stupid.
But you can use that. You can use that to your advantage. Like being underestimated has been what got me through in life, quite frankly. Like that's what I bank on, is being like underestimated. That's the greatest thing you can have. Take advantage of it.
There's nothing about any individual person that other people are not judging. We're all judging each other for all different kinds of reasons, and some might overlap. It could be an accent, but it could be because people from that region don't have the same access to certain resources. It all overlaps. Just assume everyone's judging you all the time.
Are you judging me?
Calm down and get used to it. We're all judging each other. Isn't that what human interactions
are you judging me right now?
I'm not even saying it's a negative thing.
You think I sound stupid?
No, I'm saying that we take cues from each other, and you have to make a judgment in order to do that. That's what social interaction is.
I love you, Kat Timpf and Dave Smith. I love you, too. Thanks, guys. Thanks, panel. Is President Trump's showdown with Mexico about to get better or worse? Juan Williams joins me with more on which side has more to gain and more to lose.